Those are some of the agitated members of the Ghana Medical Association who paid close by the close of today. We joined by Dr. Felix Anderson again. Doc, we're sorry for that breaking transmission earlier on, but could you take us through a summary of your demands?
Yes, like I was saying yesterday there was a press conference at the Maple Leaf Hotel in Accra, where there was a press release. Actually, we are not making any extra demands. We are just asking that an MOU that was signed last year be implemented. Last year, as part of the salary negotiations with the government, it was agreed that 10% of the doctor's basic salary will be paid to them as on-call facilitation allowance. Well, as at the time, the government said due to budgetary constraints, they can only pay for doctors who are not living in government accommodation, which was agreed on, and it was supposed to take effect from January 2009, and up to date, that percentage has not been paid. That allowance has never been paid. So that was what we were only reminding the government to fulfill its promise.
Okay, the Minister of Health, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, disclosed earlier, according to reports, that some of your members will be paid by close of the day. Do you have any signal to that effect?
Well, we haven't had any feedback from any of our members that they have been paid. But, you know, it's interesting. They were saying they didn't have the list as to who they should pay. So I'm surprised, and it will be difficult to believe them when they tell us that they would pay by the close of day. We haven't heard any such thing from any member.
Okay, so what are some of the core elements of the MOU you're talking about that you would want government to implement in the interim?
Well, the MOU was what was agreed on when we were asking for an increment in our salary. As was agreed that every 2 years the doctor's salary will be increased. So that agreement signed last year was from the negotiations that started in 2008. After some difficulties, we agreed somewhere last year, May. And as part of that increment in salary, an allowance of 10% of the basic salary was supposed to be paid as the on-call facilitation allowance.
Okay.
Now, what that means is, you know, when a doctor is on call, you check you are on call. You work. You go to the hospital in and out. And the government said, well, for those who are living in government premises, most of them are living either within the hospital premises or very close to the hospital. So they will not enjoy for that facility. So we agreed. And so they said they were going to pay that 10% for those who are not living in government premises.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking of an increase in salary every 2 years, wouldn't that be too much for the country?
Are you aware that civil servants have their salaries increased every year? Are you aware of that?
You're telling me, Doc.
Well, okay, you can check. Almost every year when there is an increase in the minimum wage and everything, it trickles down to all civil servants.
Okay.
Doctors are not included in that. So we only go for salary negotiations every 2 years. So we had one in 2006. There was one in 2008. That dragged on. So we agreed on a percentage in 2009. And we were supposed to go for another negotiation in 2010.
Not this year.
The government says they're going to pay some single spine, whatever. So we haven't started negotiating for anything for 2010.
Okay.
So if what the government will. That is why I started by saying we are not making any new demands.
Okay.
It was a percentage agreed in 2000 after the 2008 negotiations, which ended in 2009. And the government has just not paid what was agreed to be paid. That's all. We are just asking the government to pay what they agreed to pay. We are not asking the government to give us anything new.
Okay. Are there any substitute options for the Ghana Medical Association? Should government not push forward or act on as you demand?
I don't know if you have a copy of the press release, but it is stated clearly that starting from the 5th of next month, for all the 4 Mondays next month, the doctors will embark on a total strike. For all the Mondays, so there will be 4 Mondays next month. And for all the Mondays, it's a total strike from 8 a.m. on the Monday till 8 a.m. on the Tuesday. And if by the close of April, we've not seen anything, we've not concluded on all these things, Then from the 1st of May, there will be a total strike every day. I mean, it's a complete strike.
Okay, thanks for taking us through that. If I may ask, is strike action the only option for the Ghana Medical Association?
You mean is strike action the only option?
Yeah.
I think what you should have asked was, so what has been happening since May last year when this thing was agreed on? I think from then till now, there obviously has been a lot of things happening. So from which we've come to the point of embarking on the strike action. It's close to a year. Okay.
Could you take us through what has been happening?
Yes, you will see that again in the press release, where we said that after the agreement, the government was like, they were finding it difficult getting to know the doctors who live in government accommodation. Now, this was a little, should I say, difficult to understand on our part, because government who live in government premises are deducted 10% of their basic salary as rent from controller and accountant. And so you can't come back and tell us that you don't know those who live in government premises who have been paying rent to you every month. It was just a matter of stopping that deduction and paying those who were not being deducted that 10%. The list is there because they were paying. We made it easier for them by asking them that, well, it's easy if you pay the 10% to all doctors and then you continue to deduct the 10% from those you already deducted. What it means is that you give them the 10%, you take it back. It amounts to the same thing. Otherwise, go through controller and accountant list again. Look at those you were deducting the 10% from. You stop that deduction. And for those you were not deducting, you pay the 10%. We gave them these options, and strangely, they didn't, well, we don't know what happened. And then the government came back to say that they needed a list of all the doctors who are not living in government premises, which we provided. Now they came back to tell us that they would need a government entity to collect that list to make it authentic. And so the ministry said they provided a list of some sort to the Ministry of Finance. They kept coming back and forth. They said they only have the list for the 3 northern regions and not the list for the other regions. Meanwhile, the list that the GMA saw had names of doctors in the other regions. Now, it was clear that they were just playing hide and seek with us, just dragging their feet. Okay. And all these things have gone on from May last year till date. So it's not like our first option is just to embark on a strike action. It's after we have, this issue was even taken to the Labour Commission at a point in time, and there still hasn't been any resolution. You know, all these things normally are not captured by the media. It's only when we get to our wit end, I mean, when we've got into the end and we decide to resort on an industrial action, that is when the media picks up the issue. So all these things have gone on. It's about a year now, okay. And this is where we've come to.
Okay, Doc, in view of looking at things, government has not done anything in the direction of fulfilling some of these promises. What then would be your message, finally, before you leave us, to government?
Well, like we always say, that it's unfortunate things have to come this far. And it's unfortunate that people too normally don't get to know all that goes into the deliberations before such decisions are made. Obviously, you will not get it on the government side. It means the media does not bring up all the deliberations and things that have gone on. It's unfortunate what the public perceives. And that is why we decided by not going on a total strike, but just to take the 4 Mondays in the month of April. We do all these things because we have the public at heart, and we would still want to serve their interests as we've been doing all the year.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Felix Anderson. We're only hoping that government fulfills this part of the bargain so that we have a very satisfied Ghana Medical Association to work for us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. I've been speaking with Dr. Felix Anderson. He's the Deputy Secretary of the Ashanti Regional Ghana Medical Association. It is your Community Watch on Focus 94.3, 27 minutes after 7. Dr. Felix Anderson has been telling us exactly what their demands have been so far and what they would expect government to do for them.
Welcome to
Focus.
FM.
A lot of my friends listen to it at work.
You want it tomorrow? We made it today.
I just don't grow tired of listening to it.
To
Focus. I love it.